Good morning. It is such an honor to speak today about my dear friend and mentor, Harry Reid of Searchlight, Nevada, as he would proudly refer to himself. Let me first say to Harry's family, and particularly to Landra, the love of Harry's life for 62 years, who he called his rock. The only time I ever saw Harry cry was when he told me Landra had an awful car accident and had broken so many bones. He said over and over again as tears streamed down his cheeks, "My poor little Landra, my poor little Landra." A couple of months ago, as you know, I lost my father, Abe, but I still feel his spirit is with me every single day. Just as I know that Harry is still with you, Landra, and your family, and with all of us today, and for many of us forevermore. To celebrate the life of Harry Reid under the dome of the Capitol is to partake in an exercise of contradictions. On the one hand, anyone who knew Harry could count on a few things. He rarely said goodbye on the phone, and it almost became a ritual in the first 3 months of any new session that each freshman would call me up and say, "Why is Harry mad at me?" I said, no, I didn't even have to tell, they didn't have to explain why. He doesn't say goodbye, he just hung up, he's not mad at you. And certainly Harry would have been deeply embarrassed and probably a little annoyed at our holding not one, but multiple ceremonies in his honor. I can hear him now. You guys organized an entire ceremony in Nevada, invited former and current presidents and senators, and you even had the front man from the Killers sing, and still that wasn't enough for all of you? On the other hand, even though Harry might not want this pomp and circumstance, I know part of him would enjoy it. He was sort of like Sid Caesar when Sid Caesar gave a good line. No more applause, please. My friends, we celebrate Harry Mason Reid's final return to the Capitol because we must. Few have shaped the workings of this building like our dear friend from Nevada. Few have dedicated their lives to the work of the people quite like Harry did. And today, our feelings of both loss and gratitude are immense. I got to know Harry when I came to the Senate in 1999. We couldn't have been more different. There was me, a brash Jewish kid out of Brooklyn, and there was Harry, a soft-spoken Mormon from Searchlight. We were a match made in heaven. I quickly learned that even though Harry talked softly, what he said carried the force of thunder. He was honest, he was direct, and he was original. I love the story. Back in 2012, during the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte, Harry summoned me to his hotel room late night. I rushed over and I saw Landra in the room, but before I could say anything, Harry pulled me aside into the small little bathroom. We were right on top of each other, and he lowered his voice. He said, "Chuck, I want to take care of something very important," he said. And he pulled out a wad of cash from his pocket, and he peeled off 4 $100 bills. "You've been working hard and doing the right things to become leader," he said, "but you need to dress the part. Go buy some better shoes, for goodness sakes." Later on, I asked why he pulled me into the bathroom for that conversation. His answer? So he wouldn't embarrass me in front of Landra. That was Harry Reid to a T. If you were lucky enough to be someone Harry cared about and called his friend, then he cared with you with every fiber in his being. And his generosity extended far beyond things sartorial. A few years ago, Harry called up my wife Iris and told her, "I've sent you and Chuck a special gift. It's the greatest thing. You're going to love it. It's a month's subscription to Netflix." Iris didn't have the heart to tell him we had subscribed for 4 years already. Clearly, Harry wasn't big on new technology. He didn't text, he didn't mail, and as you know, whenever he called you, he'd hang up the phone so quickly that you'd think he was allergic to telecommunications. But what Harry was really allergic to was the artifice of politics that he considered a distraction from his true passion, getting good things done in this capital. Harry never forgot where he came from, nor did he forget the people, his childhood friends and neighbors who, just like Harry early on, struggled to get by, and he kept up with so many of them. We remember hearing all the stories. In Harry's view, the government had a moral obligation to see to it that these people had every opportunity to secure a better life for themselves and their families. Harry was tough as nails, a fighter to his core, but one of the most compassionate individuals you could ever imagine. In short, he was one of the most incredible and generous individuals I've ever met, the sort of person you come across only a handful of times in your life. When you lose someone as special as Harry, they're never gone. They're always with you. For those of us in the Senate Democratic Caucus, I think that was especially true last week as we observed the anniversary of the violent insurrection against our U.S. Capitol. That day, we saw so many acts of selflessness and heroism by our U.S. Capitol Police, who once counted among their esteemed ranks a young Harry, who served as an officer while studying at GW Law School. In so many ways, Harry was a guardian and a steward of the Senate, literally and figuratively. He took great care of the Senate as an institution, but he also knew that the Senate had to adapt to changing times. As we confront the challenges of the coming weeks and months, I take comfort knowing that Harry is with us in spirit, walking alongside us as we continue the work he dedicated himself to for so many years. May God rest his immortal soul, and may his memory be a blessing to us all.